ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाखया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सागणरघुनाथान्वितं सतं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सागणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्ता राधा कान्ता नमोऽस्तुते तप्त काञ्चना गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमति भक्ति वेदांता स्वामीति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारणे मूकं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंगायते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारणं परमानंद माधवं श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य ईश्वरम्। गुरुवे गौरचन्द्राय राधिकाय तदालये कृष्णाय कृष्णभक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः। जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद जय अद्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंदा। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेमा प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण भक्ताय कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरात्विसे नमः। पंचतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपा स्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकम्। अजानुलम्बिता भुजौ कनकावदातौ सङ्कीर्तनैकापितरौ कमलायताक्षौ विश्वाम्बरौ द्विजावरौ युगधर्मपालौ वन्दे जगत्प्रियाकरौ करुणावतारौ। आराध्यो भगवान् व्रजेश तनयास् तद्धामा वृन्दावना रम्या काचिदुपासना व्रजवधू वर्गेण वा कल्पिता। श्रीमद्भागवतं प्रमाणम् अम्लम् प्रेमापुमार्थो महान् श्रीचैतन्य महाप्रभोर्मतमिदं तत्राधरा परा। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 रामा
Dear, come on the dining table, beta, if you want to eat your fruit.
Hare Krishna. So I'll share my screen and let me ask, I know that everybody's familiar, most of you are familiar with Shikshashtakam prayers. Is there anybody who has not recited them before or never heard of them much before?
Me, Mataji, I've never heard them before.
Okay, good to know. Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna, me also, I didn't hear.
Okay, Hari Bol. Okay, wonderful. I'm so glad we're then discussing these. Okay, so let me share my screen and okay. Can you see the Shikshashtakam prayers?
So we can see the English only, the text 1, 2, 3.
Oh, hold on. Okay. Sorry.
So it's a different.
So let me give a little background on the prayers before we start reciting them. So for those of you that don't know, so you know these were recited by none other than Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Lord Gauranga, right? Who is none other than Krishna. When he came 500 years back, as you know, he gave us actually he gave all the teachings of Harinam to his disciples, the 6 Goswamis, and based on his teachings, the 6 Goswamis and many other disciples, you know, they wrote so much literature. They gave so much literature on Vedic knowledge. And there is so much Goswami literature available. But Mahaprabhu, who had inspired so much, like he inspired all that Vedic literature, he inspired the construction of so many temples everywhere, and especially in Vrindavan. He instructed the Goswamis to establish Vaishnava etiquettes and to manifest the places of Radha Krishna pastimes in Vrindavan. So, and he established the Sankirtan movement. Actually, he he brought the Sankirtan movement forward, which is the Yug Dharma of this Kali Yuga. But he himself did not write or compose much Vedic literature. You know, he did not give much literature himself, like he did not compile. But these are the 8 verses that he left behind, actually. These are the verses that he did recite, that he did compose, and they are very, very poetical. They are very, very deep, like they're incredibly deep meaning. And they go from the very basic fundamental principles of sadhana bhakti. You know, sadhana bhakti is like us, you know, or like me, who is following a disciplinary process with rules, regulations. There is no spontaneous love right now, but, you know, still forcing myself to get up in the morning, chant a certain number of rounds, maintain some purity, follow the regulative principles. So a regulative rules and regulation type of process, a disciplinary process. That's called sadhana bhakti. So these prayers go from that level of sadhana bhakti to the highest level, the deepest mellows of conjugal love, of the prema bhakti. So they will go through all the levels of the, you know, there are 9 stages of devotional service. Some of you might know there are 9 stages of devotional service, right? It starts with Shraddha, Adau Shraddha, meaning in the beginning, there has to be some faith or some Shraddha. That is why somebody takes up this process. Then after Shraddha comes Sadhu Sangha. Once you have some association of sadhus, then you start some kind of bhajan kriya. Okay. Then slowly you start getting purified. Your anarthas or your impurities go. So that is anarth nivritti. Then comes nishtha, meaning you become more determined to follow that process. And slowly the ruchi or the taste develops. So after nishtha comes ruchi or the taste. After ruchi comes asakti, meaning attachment. Now you are attached to that process actually. After asakti, the last 2 stages, the stage 8 and stage 9 are, stage 8 is bhava bhakti and stage 9 is prema bhakti. Okay. These stages 8 and 9 are very, very advanced, incredibly deep stages where the devotee has not only purified himself, but he is in this spontaneously in love with Krishna. Spontaneous love for Krishna has blossomed in his heart. You know, that love that is completely covered in our heart right now with so many impurities, that gets awakened to such an extent in the stages of bhav and prema bhakti that it's fully blossomed. The emotions are pouring out of that devotee in bhav and prema bhakti. So he is not able to control his emotions. They are so deep. They are so unlimitedly, incredibly advanced emotions that we cannot even understand. They're very, very high stages. Okay. So these prayers, look at the genius of Mahaprabhu. Of course, he's Supreme Personality of Godhead, but still the genius of Mahaprabhu, that even though he did not give us anything else, but these prayers are actually considered the essence of all knowledge. If somebody has not read anything and they understand these prayers, that's why, you know, in our temples, in ISKCON temples, every morning actually, these prayers are recited. And then the japa starts, because you need to understand the importance of Nam Kirtan, Prem Nam Kirtan, so that when you chant, actually, you will chant with the proper emotion. You will know where you have to get to. You have to get to that advanced stage where the love for Krishna has completely awakened within your heart. So this is the genius of Mahaprabhu, that he has given a sense of all knowledge in just these 8 verses. So Ashtakam always means 8 verses. You know, like there is Kevalashtakam, Namashtakam, Yugalashtakam, Madhurashtakam. There are so many Ashtakams. Ashtakam means a compilation of 8 verses. Okay. This is Shikshashtakam. So this is Mahaprabhu's teachings or Shiksha in these 8 verses. Okay. So these verses, now these are originally found in Rup Goswami's Padyavali. Okay, Rup Goswami composed a book called Padyavali. It's a very beautiful book, actually. I think some of us know some of the verses from Padyavali. But then later, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami took those verses and put them in Chaitanya Charitamrit. Okay. So these verses in Chaitanya Charitamrit, as you know, Chaitanya Charitamrit is full of pastimes of Mahaprabhu. In the last book of Chaitanya Charitamrit, which is Ante Leela, okay, last section, the last chapter is the Shikshashtakam prayers, and I'll show you that chapter. Do you see now, Nagarjuna Prabhu? Do you see this? My screen?
No.
Oh, really? Okay, hold on. Now you see?
Yes, we see the Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita page.
So Sri Chaitanya Charitamrit, is divided into 3 sections, okay? Mahaprabhu manifested his pastimes in this world for 48 years, okay? The first 24 years until he took sannyas is in the Adi Leela. They are in the Adi Leela. So Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami has compiled all the pastimes up to the sannyas of Mahaprabhu at 24 years of age in Adi Leela. Then the rest 24 years are broken down into 6 years and 18 years. 6 years is Madhya Leela, where he went to South India on a pilgrimage, and how he had so many pastimes with devotees there. And Ante Leela is all in Jagannath Puri, where he stayed in Jagannath Puri. This is the last 18 years. Now, when we go to Ante Leela, in Ante Leela, the last chapter, you see, so this is the last chapter of Chaitanya Charitamrita, chapter 20, come the Shikshashtaka prayers. Now, these prayers in this chapter, they are not given in a sequence, okay? Because we are used to seeing them in the sequence of 8 verses. They are not, they're broken down. And I want to go through actually the verses in between also that were spoken by Mahaprabhu. So if you see this text 12 is the first verse of Shikshashtakam. But then the next verse of Shikshashtakam comes in 16th. So 16th is the verse 2 of Shikshashtakam. So they're not in sequence because Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami has given us a more in between. Like what was Mahaprabhu feeling? So he has given more verses in between. But let's recite Shikshashtakam prayers, then we'll take the first verse. First verse is actually the most important for us, but or we can also say the first 4 verses are most important for us. The last 3 to 4 verses are very, very advanced emotions of Mahaprabhu, which may be hard to understand, and I'm not really qualified to speak on those, but I will still speak just a few lines to give you at least a mood. But if most of you know the tune, can we all sing together? Because I think some of you, like Kalindi Mataji, Abhiram Gopal Prabhu, or Nagarjuna Prabhu, probably know the tune better than I do. So please recite with me, if possible. Yes. Let's start. Cheto
Darpanamarjanam Bhavamahadavagni Nirvapanam Shriyakara Chandrika Vitaranam Vidyavadu Jivanam Anandam Buddhivardhanam Pratipadam Punam Sarvatma Snapanam Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam Namnakari Bahuda Nij Sarva Shakti Tatrapitanyamita Smaranena Kalaha Etadrishi Tava Kripa Bhagavan Mamapi Durdaivam Nidrisham Iha Jani Nanuraha Pranadapi Sunichena तरोरपि सहिष्णुना
अमानिना
अमानिना मानदेन
कीर्तनीया
कीर्तनीया सदा हरि
नादनं
नादनं न जडं न सुन्दरम् कविताम्बा जगदीश कामये
मम
मम
जन्मनि
जन्मनि जन्मनीश्वरे भवता भक्तिर्रहितुकी त्वयि पतितं वां विषमे भवाम्बुधौ कृपया तव पदपङ्कजा स्थितधूरी सदृशं विचिन्तया नयनं गलदश्रुधारया वदनं गदगदारुतया गिरा पुलकेर्निचितं वपु कदा तव नाम ग्रहण भविष्यति युगे युतं शेन चक्षुषा प्रविशायितं शून्ययुतं जगं सर्वं गोविन्दा विरहेण मे आश्लिष्यवपदारतां विनष्टु मामदर्शनं हतं करोतु वा
यथा
यथा
तथा
तथा वा विदतौ न मुक्तौ मत्प्राणानां तु सैव नापरः
हरे कृष्णा
कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे
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 राम हरे राम
राम
राम राम हरे हरे
Hare Krishna. Thank you everyone for reciting. I know that on Zoom there is a lot of back and forth lag, but still it's very purifying to recite these verses. Actually, we should all try to memorize them and recite them daily if possible. And actually, I'll show you that Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami himself says, okay, let's do that. He himself says in Chaitanya Charitamrita that if these are recited daily with devotion, Krishna Prem will arise. Let me show you this verse if I can. But we'll take the first verse. He says that in very later in the after discussing these verses, he says that. So you see, we are still in chapter 20th, and I'm going to verse 64 and 65. Okay, so Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is saying, the Lord had formally composed these 8 verses to teach people in general. Now he personally tasted the meaning of the verses, which are called the Shikshashtakam. So he had formally composed them, like he had composed them before. But now, this time when he was reciting to Swarup Damodar Das and Ramanand Rai. Okay. So now Kaviraj is saying that he personally tasted the meaning of these verses because he's in such a deep mood of conjugal mellows, is feeling in the mood of Radharani, that he's personally tasting the meaning of these verses. Before he had composed them to teach people in general. Then he says, if anyone recites or hears these 8 verses of instruction by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, his ecstatic love and devotion for Krishna increases day by day. Okay. So then let's go back to our verse. And so the verse starts at 12, but before that, Mahaprabhu is glorifying the holy name. Okay, let's see what he says. He says, so this is the mood of Mahaprabhu. He's very, very restless at this time because he's all the time feeling the love of God, love of Krishna. So he's saying, sometimes the Lord would be absorbed in a particular emotion and would stay awake all night reciting related verses and relishing their taste. In great jubilation, Mahaprabhu said, my dear Swarup Damodar and Ramanand Rai, know from me that chanting the holy names is the most feasible means of salvation in this age of Kali. So he's discussing this with Swarup Damodar and Ramanand Rai. In this age of Kali, the process of worshipping Krishna is to perform sacrifice by chanting the holy names of the Lord. One who does so is certainly very intelligent, and he attains shelter at the lotus feet of Krishna. This is, he says, Sankirtana yagye kalau Krishna aradhana saita sumedha paya Krishnera charana. So he's saying that in this age of Kali, this is the only process. Then he's reciting this famous verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, as you know this verse. Krishna varnam tvisa krishnam sangopanga astra parshadam yagya sankirtana prayer yajantihi sumedasha. That intelligent persons in this age of Kali will perform congregational chanting to worship the incarnation of Godhead. So Mahaprabhu is reciting this right now. Although his complexion is not blackish, he is Krishna himself. He is accompanied by his associates, servants, weapons, and confidential companions. Then he says, Nama Sankirtana Haite Sarva Narthana Asha Sarva Subodhaya Krishna Premera Ve Ullasa. Simply by chanting the holy names of the Lord Krishna, one can be freed from all undesirable habits. This is the means of awakening all good fortune and initiating the flow of waves of love for Krishna. So he has given this background before he recites the Cheto Darpan Marjanam verse, the first verse of Shikshashtakam. So now let's break that verse down. So he's saying one can be freed from all undesirable habits. So I want you to see this verse this verse is so important for us because this verse gives us the importance of Sankirtan movement. Okay, so I have made some bullet points here. This is nothing but the verse itself. Okay, if you see the last line of this verse says Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. Okay, so may all glories or all victories be there to Shri Krishna Sankirtan. May the Shri Krishna Sankirtan be all victorious. So Shri Krishna Sankirtan, as we know, is the Sankirtan movement of Mahaprabhu. Sankirtan means when there is congregational chanting of the holy names of the Lord. Okay, and Sankirtan process, there are two meanings given. One is that many people come together to chant the holy names of the Lord. And the second meaning is given that where a process of chanting of the holy names and everything that enables it is followed. For example, Krishna's kirtan of his name, roop, or naam, roop, gun, and leela, name, form, qualities, and pastimes. When that kirtan is done, whether in the form of katha or you do holy names, chanting of the holy names congregationally versus japa, your personal sadhana, that whole process of Hari Katha, Hari Kirtan, basically the process of Krishna consciousness, is called Sankirtan. And this Sankirtan, this chanting of the holy names is the Yug Dharma. Okay, and may all glories, all victories be to that process of Shri Krishna Sankirtan, not Sankirtan of anything else, Sankirtan of Krishna, Shri Krishna. So the holy names of Lord Krishna. And why should that process be all victorious? For that, there are 7 reasons given. There are 7 benedictions of Krishna Sankirtan given. So the first 7, these you see the bullet points. Cheto Darpan Marjanam, that's the first benediction, the first reason, okay, first importance of Sankirtan movement. Second reason is Bhava Mahadavagani Nirvapanam. Then Shreya Kerava Chandrika Vitaranam. Then Vidya Vadhu Jivanam. Number 5, Anandambudhi Vardhanam. Number 6, Pratipadam Purna Amrita Swadanam. Number 7, Sarvatma Sanapanam. So we have to take these 7 bullet points to understand the importance of Sri Krishna Sankirtan. What are these 7 points? Let's take Cheto Darpan Marjan. So, you know, Marjana means cleaning, right? Just like Mahaprabhu did Gundicha Marjan. Marjan means cleaning. So Cheto means consciousness, like our Chetana or our consciousness, our mind, our heart, you can say. Typically we say consciousness. Darpan means mirror. So cleaning the mirror of our consciousness is accomplished by Sankirtan. So what is the benediction? What is the importance of Shri Krishna Sankirtan? That it will clean the mirror of your consciousness. Right now, the mirror of our consciousness is very, very dirty. There are layers and layers of dust on it, And it's not that dust got accumulated recently. This dust has been accumulating for many, many lives, because we are eternal souls, eternal beings. And we have been circulating through various species, through the cycles of birth and death, many times over in this material world. And each time we take birth in this world, we collect more dirt, more dirt. And you might have seen in your practical experience, older the dirt, the more thick, more encrusted, more solid, thick layer it becomes, and harder it is to clean. So this dust that we have on our consciousness is very hard to clean. So because the mirror of our consciousness is so dirty, and what is the dust? What is the dust? The dust is the dust of impure desires, the dust of various anarthas. You know, there are 6 enemies that we have. It's called Shad Ripu. Ripu means enemies. We have 6 enemies, right? Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh, Mad, Matsarya. Anger, greed, lust, pride, illusion, and attachment. We have these 6 enemies. These enemies and anarthas are the enemies, and these impure desires is the dust on our consciousness. And this is, like I said, this dust is very old and very solid. It is very hard to clean. Because of this dust, we are not able to see our real self. The soul, the spiritual entity that we are, we cannot see our real self. You know, you might have seen, like if you go to these like amusement parks, sometimes we go to, they have these trick mirrors, right? Trick mirrors. And they are maybe concave or convex, and you can't see your real self. You look very fat, or you look very tall, you look very slim, right? You look baby, you look all distorted. So right now, in this dusty mirror of our consciousness, we look very distorted to ourselves. We have a distorted understanding of ourselves. We think we are this body, whether when we are actually a spiritual entity. Okay, so we have this false ego. We have this false ego that I am this body and I'm here to enjoy this world. That is why we have these desires, impure desires to enjoy this world. And that is why we have all these anger, greed, lust, illusion, pride, etc. So that is false ego. But when we clean it with the process of Sri Krishna Sankirtanam, then our consciousness will get cleaned and we can see our real self. We can see our original pure consciousness, the spiritual entity that we are. What is our relationship with Krishna? Who am I? How am I related to Krishna? We can see all that. Okay, right now we cannot see. So think about this also like this. It is important. Why is it important to clean our consciousness? Think about it like this. When you cook, do we use clean instruments to cook or dirty instruments? We make sure that our karchi, spoon, spatula, everything is very clean, right? We don't make bhoga for deities with dirty instruments. Now, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that Nimitt Matra Bhav Sabya Sachi. Become my instrument, which means we have to, our true ego, our real self has to become instrument of Krishna. So this instrument cannot be dirty. So we have to purify ourselves. Only pure devotees can become the instruments of Krishna. They can participate in his leelas. They can become his servants in the spiritual world. Krishna is not going to use dirty instrument that is full of this lust and greed and pride and all this stuff. If we have those type of dirt, then Krishna cannot use us. We are not usable. So that is why it is very important that we do this marjanam. We clean our consciousness. Otherwise, we are not usable for Krishna. So this is the first benediction of Sankirtan movement, that it cleans us. It cleans our consciousness. Second benediction. Bhav Mahadavagni Nirvapanam. Okay. You know, Bhav means material world. Okay. Mahadavagni. There is a big fire going on in this world. There is always a fire going on in this world. This world is full of dangers. Brahmaji says in Srimad Bhagavatam that Padam Padam Yad Vipadam Natesham. That in this world, there are dangers at every step. There are fires at every step. That is why we say, na, samsara dava nalalida loka tranaya karunya ghana ghanatvam, that we need this cloud of rain to fall on these fires of this world. Samsara davanal, this whole world is burning. So much fire there is. Every step there is a fire. There is danger. So in this world, Bhav, Mahadavagni, there is a big fire. So this Sri Krishna Sankirtan movement will pacify that fire of this material world. Okay, it will save us from the dangers of this world, because otherwise, when you take birth in this world, you are guaranteed the 4 problems of life: Janam, Jara, Mrityu, and Vyadhi. Death, birth, old age, and disease, right? So we have these 4 problems that we are guaranteed. And then there are 3-4 miseries: Adhyatmik, Adi Bhautik, and Adi Devik. All these miseries are guaranteed also. So many miseries and problems are there in this material world. And it is very foolish to stay in this world knowing that there are fire. It's like a person sitting in a burning house and saying, I'm fine. But no, your house is burning. You will get burnt in this house. Get out of here. This world, anything can happen at any time. Like I'm a doctor, so I see this all the time. Like people, ladies come for their just routine mammogram, and they don't even know that there is anything going on, and suddenly there is cancer. Or somebody comes for colonoscopy, and they get a call back in a few days that you have colon cancer. So anything can happen anytime in this world. Suddenly you could lose your property, or a bad name, some bad reputation you may get. Somebody may spread some rumor. Anything can happen. So get out of this burning house. It's foolish to sit inside this burning house. And that is what Sri Krishna Sankirtan does. It pacifies the fires of this world. It gets us out of here. So that is Bhav Mahadavagni Nirvapanam. That is the second benediction. It cleanses our consciousness. It pacifies the fires of this world by getting us out of here. Then, this is very beautiful, very, very poetical. Look at this. Shreya Kairav Chandrika Vitarnam. Okay, Shreya Kairav Chandrika Vitarnam. Do you know, anybody knows, I'm sure most of you know the meaning of the word Shreya? Shreya versus Preyas. You have all heard, right? Preyas means a short-term benefit. Shreya means long-term benefit. In short term, there may be some discomfort, but long term, there is a benefit. So Shreya is like a delayed gratification. But in short term, there may be some difficulty. That is Shreya. Long term, in the long run, you are benefited. Kairav means lotus, but not just any lotus. It's a white lotus. And Chandrika means moon rays. So there is this white lotus, if you see, that will blossom under the moon rays in the night only. It blossoms only under moon rays. Okay. Vitarna means spread. So Sri Krishna's Sankirtan, what does it do? It spreads the moon rays on the white lotus flower of our consciousness. Okay. Our consciousness is right now very narrow, very constricted, very limited. Okay. It expands, it blossoms. The love for Krishna blossoms in our heart, just like the white lotus blossoms when the moon rays fall on it. And that is the long-term benefit of this Sri Krishna Sankirtan. It is Shreyas for us. It is the long-term, it is provides the topmost benediction for the soul. So when you read the translation of this verse, it says, Sri Krishna Sankirtan gives the topmost benediction for the soul. Topmost benediction meaning Shreyas. And what is the Shreyas? That the lotus flower of our consciousness will bloom, will blossom under the moon rays of the Sri Krishna Sankirtan. So they are like moon rays which fall on our consciousness and gives the highest benediction. So Krishna consciousness works on the soul, on the level of soul. Okay. Then Vidya Vadhu Jivanam. This is very beautiful. Vidya Vadhu Jivanam. This is very beautiful concept. Please understand this. Vidya, of course, Vidya refers to transcendental knowledge or spiritual knowledge, divine knowledge. And the knowledge of this world is called avidya. Okay, typically we say the knowledge of this world that causes bondage, that causes entanglement is avidya. And vidya is the knowledge that frees us from this world, that takes us back to Godhead. So that is vidya. So you know the meaning of vidya. Vadhu. Vadhu means bride. bride. Okay, you know, bride. Jivanam. Jivana means life. Now, who is the life of a bride? Who is the life and soul of a, or who is the prannath of a of a bride, of a dulhan, of a lady? Who's her prannath? Who's her pran? Who's her jivan? Her husband, right? Her husband is the jivan, the pran of the bride. So Vadhu's jivan or Vadhu's husband is who? Vidya. So sorry. Vadhu is Vidya and Sankirtan is the husband of this Vidya. Okay. So I don't know if I'm making this clear. So there are two things. One is Vidya. Vidya is the wife. Transcendental knowledge is the wife. And husband is the Sankirtan movement. Okay. Sankirtan. Shri Krishna Nam Kirtan is the process of bhakti is the husband. And husband and wife have to go together. They cannot get separated. That is why Prabhupada said that we have to have knowledge of philosophy and we have to practice the sadhana bhakti. So because Sankirtan is the process of bhakti, Nam Sankirtan is the process of bhakti and Vidya is the transcendental knowledge. But transcendental knowledge is life and soul is Sankirtan. So only knowledge itself is not going to do anything. Only wife alone is not sufficient. You need the husband with her. So somebody can say, I have all the knowledge. I know all the verses of Bhagavad Gita. Then that is only wife. Where is the husband? Where is the process of bhakti? Where is the Sankirtan going on? Are you chanting the names of the Lord? Are you in association doing congregational chanting? If you only have knowledge, then that is only wife. But wife needs the husband to maintain her. So knowledge will only blossom in the heart also if there is process of bhakti, if there is mercy of Guru, mercy of Krishna, association of devotees, and Harinam Kirtan, Sankirtan going on. So this point is maybe a little difficult to understand, but I really love this point. Vidya Vadhu. Vidya is the Vadhu and her Jivan is Sankirtan. That is why Sankirtan is important. This is the benediction of Sankirtan movement, that it is the life and soul of transcendental knowledge. Okay. Then next point. Okay. Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam. Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam. Buddhi, you know, is the ocean. Buddhi word kahin baar aata hai. Buddhi means ocean. Anandam. Anand means bliss. Vardhanam keeps increasing. This Sri Krishna Sankirtan will give you the bliss that is ever increasing. That is eternal. That is without any gaps or interruptions in it. It's constant. It is ever increasing, and it is everlasting. Okay, it is endless, it is unlimited, it is pure, it is constant, which we cannot say for the material happiness. Material happiness has a ending, has a beginning and an ending. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, right, has a beginning and an ending, and it causes misery in the long run, and it causes bondage. Okay, think about it. Like if you take some example, anything you like to do. Okay, for example, I'll give my example. I like to travel. But for traveling, so much is needed. You have to book your ticket, you have to book your hotel, you have to book your, have a visa if you're going out of the country. So much is needed. You have to make arrangements back home somewhere. You have to take a time off from work. A lot of effort goes into planning a vacation. But, and then you go and it's for like 7 days, 10 days, whatever. And it's gone, it's done. Okay, so it has an ending. It is not constant. It's not something I can keep doing forever. If I stay in the hotel, they will kick me out because my time is up. So the time gets up in material world. Material happiness is very short lasting. It ceases, it stops. But Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam, but the ocean of bliss experienced by Krishna Sankirtan is endless. It does not cease. There is no gap. I have to have gap. Like, let's say I like to eat something very nice. I cannot keep just eating it all night, all day, all the time. It will bring me misery. My health will suffer and I will not even feel like eating. So I have to give a gap to be able to enjoy it again. Otherwise I cannot enjoy it. So this is the nature of happiness in the material world. But this bliss, Anand, enjoyed by the Sri Krishna Sankirtan is a special type of bliss. First of all, it is free. There is no money. Anywhere you can chant, anytime you can chant, there is no misery, no side effect. There is no side effect. And it is sustainable. Material happiness is not sustainable. Material happiness, you can, with great effort, you will get something. Just think of again, going back to amusement park, think of a ride. But you have to stand in the line for that ride for like 30 minutes. Then the ride is over in like 2 minutes or 5 minutes. And you have to pay the ticket. Then you stand there for like 30 minutes in the heat, in the crowd. And finally, when your turn comes, it's over in 5 minutes. That is the nature of material pleasure. So material pleasures cannot compare to this type of spiritual bliss, because material pleasures are very temporary, very minimal, cause bondage, cause harm, cause side effect. They have to have a gap in between. They're not constant. Very, very small. It is said in Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, Rup Goswami says that Bhoganand or Anand that comes from Bhoga, from sense gratification, is like a drop of water, whereas Premanand is like a ocean. So this is Buddhi, Anandam Buddhi, and it Vardhanam, it keeps increasing. It's not something that will slow down or stop. It will increase, actually. It will go higher and higher. Okay. Then this is also very nice. Prati Padam Purnamrita Swadanam. This is in continuation with the last fact. That so just to summarize, Sri Krishna Sankirtan cleanses our consciousness. It pacifies the fires of this material world, gets us out of here. It helps to bloom our consciousness so that we are going for the long-term benefit. It gives the long-term benefit for the soul. It is the life and soul of the transcendental knowledge. It gives the bliss that is like an ocean and ever increasing. Then it says, Prati Padam Purnamrit. Prati Padam, every step. Prati is every, Padam is step. At every step, Purnamrit. Purnamrit, complete nectar. Purna Amrit, complete nectar. Okay? Meaning no gaps, complete, full enjoyment you get from this. Swadanam, you taste complete nectar. Okay, so this is in continuation with the last concept, so I'll keep going. Okay, then you can say, is this Sankirtan only for certain type of people? No, Mahaprabhu said, no qualification is needed. It's not for like just Brahmans or Kshatriyas or for male or not for females or for educated people and not for uneducated or for rich and not for, no such discrimination. Sarvatma, Sarvatma. Sanapanam. Sanapanam means it bathes. It bathes all living beings. So that's why when we do Harinam, Prem Nam Kirtan, the Sankirtan, the Harinam on the roads, anybody that hears is benefited. It is giving all these benefits to all the beings. Sarvatma, Sanapanam, all these benefits. It is going to bathe. Sanapanam means bathe. It is going to bathe the consciousness of all living entities, not just somebody who even hears by mistake, who did not want to hear, closes their ears, still hears something, still benefit. So it benefits everybody. So that is Sarvatma Sanapanam, and it is completely pure. It bathes everybody. It is completely pure, and it is meant for all beings. Sarvatma Sanapanam means it's completely pure, and it bathes, it makes everybody pure. So these are the 7 benedictions of Sri Krishna Sankirtan. So this is what I wanted to share about this verse. We have probably time for one or two more, because next ones are small. But I just want to see if anybody else wants to share something about this before I go forward, or because there is so much to be said about each verse, but I'm just giving very brief, or just brief, superficial introduction. Would anyone like to share before we go to the next one? Any questions, corrections, realizations?
Mataji, I missed out when you were summarizing. You said it cleanses the consciousness, pacifies the fire, and then it kind of got hazed off.
Oh, okay. Shreya Kairav Chandrika is when it our consciousness blooms like the white lotus blooms under the moon rays. Similarly, this acts like the moon rays and gives the long-term benediction. And then it is the life and soul, the husband of the transcendental knowledge. It increases our bliss, and we can taste that bliss at every step. And it is completely purifying for all living beings.
Okay.
Anyone wants to share anything? Kalindi Mataji, Abhiram Gopal Prabhu, Nagarchandra Prabhu, anyone? Rakshita Mataji, anything else to add here?
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you. Beautiful explanation.
No, I have nothing to add to it.
Okay, very good. So also I just want to clarify, I have heard classes of His Holiness Chandramauli Maharaj, His Holiness Bhakti Rasamrit Maharaj, and His Grace Adigadar Prabhu for these for this. Okay, so then let's do the next one because it's so important. The next one. Nam namakari bahuda nij sarva shaktis tatarpita niyamita smaranena kalaha etadrishi tav kripa bhagavan mamapi durdevam idrisham iha janina nuragaha. So, okay, before that, actually, we have to see the Chaitanya Charitamrita. What does Mahaprabhu say in between? Okay, so this was the verse 12, you saw. This was Cheto Darpan Marjanam, okay? Prabhupada has not given any purport on this. Then next comes Sankirtana haite papa samsara nashana chitta shuddhi sarva bhakti sadhana udgamam. Now, what is he saying? By performing congregational chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, basically it means Sankirtan, one can destroy the sinful condition of material existence, purify the unclean heart, and awaken all varieties of devotional service. The result of chanting is that one awakens his love for Krishna and tastes transcendental bliss, Premamrita Aswadana. So he's elaborating on that same verse that we've just read. Ultimately, one attains the association of Krishna and engages in his devotional service as if immersing himself in a great ocean of love. Sevamrita Samudre Majjana. The Bengali is also very beautiful here. Lamentation and humility awoke within Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Now, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami saying that when Mahaprabhu was recited this verse and is elaborating on it, lamentation and humility awoke within him. He began reciting another of his own verse. By hearing the meaning of that verse, one can forget all unhappiness and lamentation. So this is the prelude to the next verse. What is the next verse? Nam Namakari Bahuda. So Krishnadas is saying that he started reciting another of his own verse, and by hearing the meaning of this verse, one can forget all unhappiness and lamentation. So this is the verse. Okay. So let's understand this verse. Namna Makari Bahuda. So this means the one who has millions of names, countless names, actually not millions, countless names, innumerable, infinite names. Akari. Akar means to take form. So somebody who has manifested himself with innumerable names, who has taken akar or form or manifested himself in Bahuda, many, infinite names, who has, okay? Nij Sarva Shaktis. And he has instilled tremendous Shakti or potency, energy into these names, his own energy, Nij Sarva Shakti, Sari Shakti, all the potency he has put in these names. So this first line is very important. So one who has millions of names, we know there are so many names of Krishna, right? We cannot even count. And they may be, they may be in different, even different religion, different language, but they all belong to the Lord. Like we sing, Hari Haraya Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha Gopal Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudana Giridhari Gopinath Madana Mohana. They're all names of Krishna. So any song you take, our Vaishnavacharyas are always singing the names of Krishna. Hare Krishna, these are our prescribed mantra. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And then विभावरी शेषालोक प्रविशा निद्रा छड़ी उठो जी Jiva. Bolo Hari Hari Mukunda Murari Rama Krishna Hayagriva. Again, the whole song has names and qualities of Krishna. So like that, you know, Bilva Mangal Thakur sings Shri Krishna Vishnu Madhu Ketavare Bhaktanukam Ben Bhagavan Murare Traya Swamam Keshava Lokanatha Govinda Damodar Madhaveti. Right, like that. So many names, right? So many names. You don't even, so many verses, so many songs. They're just full of Krishna's names. And Nij Sarva Shaktis. This is very important. This is very important for us to understand because this will give us, potency when we are chanting Krishna's names. Because right now we think Krishna's name is something and Krishna is something else. But we have to realize that there is no difference. Name of Krishna and Krishna are same. So name and Krishna are same. Name of Krishna is Krishna. So Prabhupada used to say that when you are chanting Krishna's names, Krishna is dancing on our tongue. He's dancing on our tongue. So that is why it's, we are associating with Krishna when we are chanting the names of Krishna. That is why we have to be attentive and with intention, with focus, with effort, try to bring our mind back to the names because Krishna is there with us. So, and we are neglecting him if we are not focusing on chanting properly. So names of Krishna, Krishna themselves, because he has, Krishna himself, because he has put all his energy equal to the Lord in his names. So he's invested. The Tatarpita word here means bestowed. Prabhupada said bestowed all the energies into his names. Okay. This verse from Padma Purana, it's also mentioned in Chaitanya Charitamrita, says, Nama Chaitanya Krishna, Nama Chintamani Krishna Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha Purna Shuddho Nityamukto Abhinnatvan Nama Naminam. Nam Chintamani Krishna. It's the touchstone. It's the, you think about it and you will be associating with Krishna. It's the form of Krishna. Chaitanya Ras Vigraha. And it's Purna Shuddho Nitya Mukto Abhinnatvan Nam Namina. There is no difference between Nam and Nami. So there is no difference between Lord and his names. Then he says, so the Tarpita means he has bestowed or he has invested all the energies in his, all his energies in his names. Nij Sarva Shaktis Tatarpita. Then Niyamita Smarane Nakalaha. Okay. Niyamita Smarane. So Prabhupada said, there are no hard and fast rules for remembering these names. There is no consideration of time. No hard and fast rules, no major, restrictions. Of course, Prabhupada has given us some rules, like he said that at minimum chant 16 rounds. The key word here being minimum, chant 16 rounds, right? Because otherwise we are supposed to chant the names continuously, but based on our situation, he has given minimum 16 rounds. But then of course we are supposed to increase. But like Bhagavad Gita says, Satatam kirtayanto mam ye jana paripasate. So like that, we are supposed to be chanting his names continuously, constantly, but we should be chanting attentively. That's the rule. Some rules that we are supposed to follow, but otherwise there are no rules as in you have to be pure, you have to give up something to chant. Like somebody says, oh, I'm a meat eater, I ate meat just now, so I cannot participate in Sankirtan movement. No, come on, you can chant, you can participate, you can dance, you can say the names of the Lord. It will purify you. It's not like you will contaminate the name. The names are so pure, you cannot contaminate it, but the name will purify you. So chant. So there are no hard and fast rules and no considerations of time. Just for, we understand that we should chant minimum 16 rounds, chant attentively, or whatever vow we have taken to chant, depending on where we are in our spiritual journey, if you're chanting 4 rounds, 8 rounds, whatever. And Prabhupada also said that chant loudly meaning that something, if you're doing japa, then we should be able to hear, like tongue speaks and ears can hear. So like that, vachik chanting, not just mansik or upamshu, like in the mind, and not just whispering, but loud enough that we can hear. Like that, some rules, but otherwise there are no rules that are associated with other mantras. Etadrishi tav kripa bhagwan mamapi. So bhagwan mamapi. So then Mahaprabhu is saying, You have given me so much mercy. Etadrishi is so much. Your mercy on me. Oh my Lord, you have given me so much mercy. But it's my misfortune. Durdevam idrisham. It is my such misfortune that I have still not developed attachment. That you have come in the form of your names and you have invested all your energies in the names. And the name is non-different from you. You are here in the form of name with me, yet I have not developed any attachment to the names. So this is a very common lamentation that we also see in the mood of many other acharyas also, like that, you know, the beautiful song Kevalashtakam, right, which mentions the 8 reasons for chanting holy names. So that says that this is the only hope in this age of Kali. Keval means only. There is no other way. There is no other way. Hare Naam eva kevalam. Kalau nasti eva gatiranyatha. So Hare Naam eva kevalam. So based on that, that song says Hare Naam eva kevalam, kevalashtakam. In that song also, the Acharya says that Aho dukkha maha dukkham, dukkha dukkha taram yata, kachartam vismritam ratna, hare nameva kevalam. That, oh, such a sorrow, what a big sorrow. Aho dukkham, maha dukkham, big sorrow, tremendous sorrow, that you gave me this jewel. But what a sorrow, dukkha taram yata, that I treated it like a piece of glass, kaach ki tarah, kachartam vismritam ratna, ratna or jewel, I treated it like a piece of glass, kachartam, as kaach, and did not develop any taste. Similarly, you know, our Guru Maharaj likes to sing this song very commonly, so I really like this. That song, Doyal Nitai Chaitanya also says, अनुराग तो हाबे है कृष्णा नामे, अनुराग तो हाबे है अनया से सफल हाबे जीवे राजीवान, अनया से सफल हाबे जीवे राजीवान, विचार तो नहीं है ओ नामे अपराध, विचार तो नहीं है कृष्णा नामे रुचि हाबे गुची बेबंधन, कृष्णा नामे रुचि हाबे गुची बेबंधन, दोयाल निताई चैतन्य बोले नाच रे अमर मान. So merciful Lord has given us these names. So to these names, oh my mind, dance. Nach re amar man, my mind should dance. The tongue should be relishing the taste of holy names. But what a sorrow. So Mahaprabhu in the same mood is saying, of course, you know, this is not, Mahaprabhu is relishing the names. You will see that he's crying, chanting these names. But this is the mood of the, because he's in that mood of a devotee. So he is feeling that humility and lamentation, just like we read just recently. Krishnadas Kaviraj said that he was lamenting in the, you see this verse just before, lamentation and humility awoke. So this is the mood we see in our acharyas, lamentation and humility. And you see that Mahaprabhu had that same mood, you know, is embracing that mood where he's, even though he has full taste, we know that he's relishing the nectar, he's absorbed, he's Bhagwan himself. But we should always feel, you know, that we have more to achieve. We can achieve more taste, have more absorption in the holy name. So Nach Re Amar Man, my mind should dance and my tongue should relish the taste. But oh, what a sorrow, what a misfortune that I have not developed any anurag, na anuraga. Krishna name anurag to habe. So better we develop taste. And Krishna name ruchi habe, ruchi bebandan. If we develop taste, the ruchi, then all the bondage will break. So these are the two verses. This is the second verse. Just before finishing, let's get until the next one and then I'll stop. Then what does Mahaprabhu says? Mahaprabhu says, because people vary in their desires, you have distributed various holy names by your mercy. Looks like this is Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami saying, Anek lokera vancha. So because somebody might say, why are there so many names? Why not just give one name? Because Aneka lokera vancha, because people have very different types of desires. People vary in their desires. So according to the desires of devotees, anek prakara naam have been given. Kripate karila aneka namera prachara. So I've broadcasted many names. Then Khaite shuite yatha tatha namalaya kala desha niyama nahi sarva siddhi haya. So I really like these middle verses because they give further purport to these Shikshashtakam verses. So the same thing that we just discussed. Khaite shuite yatha tatha namlaya. Anytime, whether you are eating, sleeping, take the name. You can take the name regardless of time or place. One who chants the holy name, even while eating or sleeping, attains all perfection. Kala desha niyama nahi. There is no niyam. There is no niyam. Kala desh. Wherever you are, you can chant the Harinam. Sarva siddhi haya. And you can achieve the perfection. Then he says, so niyamita smarane nakala. That was the last verse. Then he says, Sarva Shakti Name Dila Kariya Vibhag Amara Durdeva Name Nahi Anurag. You have invested your full potencies in each individual holy name, but I am so unfortunate that I have no attachment for chanting your holy names. This is the point we just discussed. I just like these verses, to recite these verses, to give you full import of this. Sarva Shakti Nama Dila, Sari Shakti, sab all potencies you put in the name. Yet Amar Durdeva, my misfortune, Naam Nahi Anurag. I have no attachment to the name, no love for the names. Then this is the last one before the third Shikshashtakam verse comes. Ye rupe laile nama prema upajaya tahara lakshana shuna swarupa Ramaraya. Swarupa and Ramaraya are listening, right? This conversation is happening with Swarup Damodar Das and Ramanand Rai. Mahaprabhu said, oh, Swarup Damodar and Ramanand Rai, hear from me the symptoms of how one should chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra to awaken very easily one's dormant love for Krishna. How? So this is the prelude to the next verse, the third verse, the very famous verse. Rinadapi sunichena taroriva saheshnuna amani namanade kirtaniya sadahari. So Mahaprabhu is saying, I'll tell you, Swarup and Ramanand, how one should chant. So the first verse, Shikshashtakam verse 1, told us the 7 benedictions, 7 benefits, 7 perfections of the Sankirtan or chanting of holy names. Verse 2 told us, what are these names? These names are none other than Krishna. What's in a name? What is in a name? Shakespeare had asked, what's in a name? But actually, it is very important because names are not different from Krishna. They have been invested by all the energies of the Lord. And then Mahaprabhu is going to say, how? So now you know they are important. You have understood the benefits. You understood they are none other than Krishna. You understood they are full of potencies of the Lord. Now understand in what mood to chant. How to keep chanting continuously. How one can maintain Nirantar Harinam and what is the mood of chanting. So this is the verse 3. But we'll stop here because we've run out of time. These first two, first 4 are were the longest. So I think tomorrow we could cover definitely more, and maybe 2 more sessions we could finish. But let's. I know there are many deficiencies and maybe incorrections in the presentation. Please share. And there are so many realizations by all the senior devotees. That'd be nice to hear. Hare Krishna. Anybody would like to share? Let's see, somebody who had never heard them before. Rekha Mataji, Nilveni Mataji, you said that you've not heard Shikshashtakam prayers before. What did you think? Would you like to share something?
Mataji, I really loved it. I loved how you broke down, dissected the verse and the meaning of it. And when I'm looking back, it really has a deep meaning to it. And hope one day I can get that same feeling, It's very beautifully explained.
Thank you, Mataji. Okay, so if
Hare Krishna. Again, thank you very much for sharing. We have heard these before, but never really thought about them or pondered about them this nicely. And with our brains, with those Kali Yuga brains, we forget very easily. So the more we hear, the better it is. And this was very, very nicely done. And thank you again for doing this in preparation for Gaur Purnima, so we can meditate upon Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Nagarjuna Prabhu. Okay.
Thank you, Mataji, for sharing the shlokas in between the Shikshashtakam as well. Like you said, it kind of develops the mood and gives a little more deeper, essence. So thank you for sharing that.
Prabhuji, please share something.
Mataji, I think I can't think of anything more than what you already shared. These were very beautifully and nicely prepared presentation. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yeah, it's very nice
Yeah,
to
thank
see.
you, Mataji. It was very good. As everyone is saying that you explained very beautifully.
Mataji, I hope I can imbibe these in my life. Kalindi Mataji, please share.
No, I was just going to say that it's very nice to see the whole flow of the verses with everything and how you explained everything. It's very. I mean, I know the verses, but it's still it's always good to hear more, because it's so nice to see the whole context and how it actually can go deeper and deeper and deeper.
Yes, Mataji. The hope is that the more we hear, the more we'll be able to chant properly in a better consciousness and have more faith in the name and the Sankirtan movement. And Mahaprabhu invented this Sankirtan movement. And once we really understand, grasp the importance of this, the benedictions, the benefits of this, then maybe we can contribute to advance it as well. So we have to keep reminding ourselves. Andhra Prabhu said, we are Kali rejects. So we are as rejected souls of Kali Yuga that need constant reminders. So that's why I thought we'll go deep into these verses and remind ourselves again why we are chanting and what is this Sankirtan movement, why we are engaged in this movement. Okay. Thank you everyone for taking our time to hear this class, and we'll continue tomorrow. Hopefully we can do more tomorrow. And then the last 4 verses, really I have nothing. Even other classes that I heard did not share much because everybody kept saying that they don't feel qualified to share on the last 3, especially the last 3 verses. So they'll be very quick to share. So we'll finish in maybe 2 more sessions. Okay, thank you everyone for joining. Mancha kaltarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyeva cha patitanam
Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha.
Krishna Krishna
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.